Hi, my name's Jody Baldacci. Welcome to Become a Watercolorist in 31 Days. Hopefully you've been following my blog and you've learned lots about supplies, paper choices, plein air, how to hold a pencil, how to get started, that type of thing. So what I want to do is actually go through and show you some of my supplies that I actually use. Okay, what I'd like to start with is just containers. Okay, so here are some of the containers that I actually use. This is obviously flat and can hold a whole lot. These are smaller. I can either use them for washes or, for rinsing, that sort of thing. A little flat lid I can use for mixing. The palettes that I buy, I have two palettes that I have purchased, and they're one's small and one's large. This is a smaller one. As you can see, it contains a very nice opportunity for a paint palette. You can design your colors however you want them to be, orient them, put the warms together, the cools together. You can go greens to blues, whatever makes sense to you. Trained artists will tell you there's a specific way to lay them out. But what you really need to do is lay it out for what works for you color-wise, okay? You can see there's two mixing trays in the middle here with the paint going around 3 of the 4 sides. The lid to this happens to fit on, not exactly airtight, but pretty airtight, and it has this really nice lid to it, which is also a mixing tray area. So the two pieces together are really nice, and you can use it for a variety of painting opportunities, okay? And then I have my large palette, which as you can see is much larger than the other one. It also is 3-sided without paint wells on the bottom because it's typically right up against you, okay? You can see in my upper corner here, I have a pan. It has white in it, but this is what a dry pan looks like. I also have, this is a clear plastic tube that is used to go over brushes to help protect the bristles for more expensive brushes. And then this is exactly what it looks like. It's a razor blade, and you can use this to make different techniques on the paper and lines and whatnot. You just got to be careful to not cut the paper. Okay, this also comes with a lid that fits on nice and tight, and you can use for a mixing tray. As you can see, I do that. So there's different sizes, but I think you'll find that you'll enjoy getting the paint palette because you're able to use it. This is a nice portable one that I use when I do work plein air, which is outdoors. And it has all, paints that you want. It gives you a very specific set. It has 2 trays. This one comes out and it fits in right here. And voila, you have a very nice portable set that you can take outside and easily use. Okay, portable, lightweight, the whole bit. Okay, so those are several different types of palettes that you've seen. And next I'll go to paper. I'm working on getting ready for a holiday show on November 18th, so I'm doing lots of Christmassy things. And some of the paper that I use, I can cut myself. I find it faster to just simply buy it. I buy it in quantity at a bulk location, and this particular card is an ivory color, and it's cut on all sides. It's a nice thick watercolor paper, comes with a matching envelope. This card has an artisan edge to one edge. This is this is landscape oriented, and this would be portrait oriented, so you could put the artisan edge wherever you want. It has a matching envelope that also has the artisan edge. There you go. Okay, so these are nice because they match. They're easy to work with, easy to buy, and easy to use. So that's why I use them. There are 2 colors here. I use ivory a lot because what I work with a lot are warmer tones like this face and whatnot. It goes very well with the ivory color, but they also make a bright white. Can you see the difference between the 2 colors? In here, I know the camera may not be the best, but this is bright white, this is ivory. So you can decide what you want to use and how you want to use it. Here is my standard paper. Okay, I use Strathmore watercolor. I use 140-pound paper. This particular paper is 9 by 12, 9 inches by 12 inches. Okay, it's on the small side. You can trim it. You can do a variety of things with it. This particular sheet is 11 by 15. It's a little bit bigger. And I also use this size, which is even bigger. This pad is 18 by 24. They all come in 12 sheets. They're all 140-pound paper. They're all Strathmore watercolor paper. I really like this paper. It's a nice thickness. I prefer 300-pound, but it's more expensive. So this is not the cheapest paper, quality or price-wise, but it's a nice thickness, as you can see, and I enjoy painting on it. So that's my paper choice when I'm doing my average stuff. This is Arches brand paper. See, oops, Arches, this is French or something. This is Arches in English, and this is one of the most expensive papers I know, but it's one of the best papers I know also. This particular paper is rough. See how that says rough? The other paper that I had is more the middle ground. It's not super flat. It's got some texture to it. This is rough. This has got a lot of texture to it. It works kind of like an easel, okay, in that you can just have it flat like this. It's all bound together on the edges. It's glued actually on the edges, and the different types of pads. This is considered a block because it looks like a block of paper. The spiral bound is considered a pad because it's like a pad that you can turn. Okay, so this is a block of paper. It's glued on all sides and solid, so you can just paint. It's one piece. It's like holding a clipboard. When you're all done and it's dry, you can use a palette knife and slide it between the sheets of paper and then go along the edges here, and it'll just wedge up and you'll be able to remove your one page. Okay, so that's about it for paper. The Arches paper I had right there is also ivory, my choice. It comes in all different colors and whatnot, so you can make whatever choices you want. Let's move on to paint. I have lots of different paint. I prefer tube paint. I showed you a pan earlier. I don't really use that very much. I use tube paint because it's moist. I enjoy, squirting it out and using it fresh right out of the tube. That way I don't have to worry about wetting it and moistening it and trying to get it started. I can thin it always if I want to. It comes in different brands and different sizes. This is Daniel Smith. This is Winsor Newton. This is a small size. This is a larger size. Price is the difference basically. This is cheaper. This is more expensive because there's more of it. If it's a color I'm not using a lot, I'll get the smaller, or a color maybe I'm unsure of, I'll get it and try in the smaller. If it's a color I know I'm familiar with, I'm going to use lots of it. I buy the larger. They last for years in these tubes. It's not like they're going to go bad. So this is my collection. The reason they're in zippy bags is I work plein air a lot. I work outdoors a lot, and this way I can take my paints with me. I also have spray bottles that I use with some basic colors, green, yellow, blue, some just basic type of colors. This is a fine mist spray. You can use it to spray clouds. You can spray grassy areas, tree areas, and get a quick spray of color on it that will blend and bleed together. It's a nice technique. I also have just clear, because sometimes you want to add a little bit of moistening to an area, or maybe even to your paints, to your palette, and you can just use the clear water to spray. This particular thing is soap. You need to learn how to clean your brushes, and I'll show you that in another episode, but this is just basically soap. Round brushes, you just get wet and you swirl around in there, rinse it out until no pigment runs. The flat brushes, you'll flip back and forth. So flat brush, you go back and forth this way. where a round brush, you would swirl around in a circle and then run it under water until the pigment ran out. We'll actually do that in one of the videos so you can see what it's like. You don't have to use fancy soap. Any soap will do. I prefer the soap because it's a gentle soap that is good for some of my brushes. Some of my brushes are very expensive. Brushes can be as cheap as a few dollars and as expensive as several $100s for just one brush. And some of mine are expensive. So there's different types of brushes. Some are long handled. Closer, there we go. Some of them are long handles, as you can see here. They're almost as long as my forearm is, and they're long. And there's different preferences for painting. I think it depends. If you're doing something small close up and you're doing smaller work, a shorter paintbrush is going to make sense because it's more pencil size, where a long paintbrush is not going to make sense because you've got this whole big thing. But if you're standing up and you're working on a big piece of paper with a big easel, you can hold it back farther and, you know, you can paint differently. So it gives you different handle lengths, give you different opportunities, basically. This is a flat brush. See how it's flat? And it's square at the top. That's a flat brush. Let's see. This is a round brush. I'm going to turn it, see how it's round in nature. Okay. And this is a fan brush because it fans out. Different techniques for doing things. There's all sorts of sizes. These are red sable. This is red sable. It's a nice brush. I like red sable. For working with watercolors, you can use, this is a hog bristle brush. So is this. It's a much coarse, and it has different effects with the paint. So this is a much more coarse, as you can see, the difference between, look at the tips. There's a distinct difference between the tips. These are nice and smooth and even and soft. These are very jaggedy and rough and coarse. So different bristles do different things. This is a synthetic type of bristle, and it just handles the paint a little differently also. Again, I personally prefer the red sable. It's just my preference. All right, so that's brushes. Let's go to, I use sponges for a lot of things. I know this bag looks very odd, but it is cotton, so it's a good place to store sponges. And I'm just going to show you the variety of texture. Look at these textures. Aren't they beautiful? You imagine the beautiful textures that they would produce on your paint. I have some that are very smooth. You can use just for wetting an area, or get a smaller type of texture. So anyway, I enjoy sponges a lot. It gives you a very nice effect. Let's see what else I have here. I'm doing Christmas things. So some of what you can do is glue. You can use glue. You can glue on little stars to the top of a tree, or to on a Christmas tree. I use glitter sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. Christmas is a good time for glitter. You can use glitter either with glue, or you can add just a very light dusting of glitter to wet paint, and it'll actually stick. You don't even have to use the glue. Some of the other techniques that I'm going to show later in different videos are going to be use of alcohol and salt. You can use both of them to make starburst looking things in your paint. Alcohol and water don't get along, so when you put a drip of alcohol into your paint, it will push away the paint, which makes a really cool starburst thing. Salt does a similar thing. You have to let the salt dry before you can use it, and salt's a really neat thing. Let's see, what else? You can use a variety of tools. This is a fork, a plastic everyday fork. You can use it to make textures one way or another, cross hatching. You can use a knife, either the serrated edge to make a serrated type of thing, or you turn it over and use the straight edge here, and you can make lines like grass or, you know, twigs and branches, that sort of thing. So you can use a variety of that sort of tools. Tape, do not use masking tape. Masking tape is way too sticky to use, and you want something that's acid free, that is less sticky. These artisan tapes are still a little too sticky for me. When I use them, I peel them off and I stick them to something like my t-shirt or something, then I pull them off. They're still sticky enough to stick to the paper, but it helps when you're removing it to not run the risk of tearing your paper. So I stock up when there's sales at the local craft store with different frames. You can see some of these are nice and double-edged. This is a nice one too. So I stock up on little frames whenever, and then when a project or a holiday comes or whatever, I then have easily access to little frames that I can put things in and make my projects look a little more finished. Helps to sell it at my November 18th show. Waters. You want to have 2 glasses, one for clean wash water and one for rinsing water. So one you're going to use to rinse your brushes out, and the other one you're going to use for when you want fresh water to add to make your paint a little thinner or a slightly different color, that sort of thing. But try to keep 2 and try not to drink them. I've talked to several friends of mine who thought they were reaching for their glass of pop or their coffee or whatever it is that your drink choice is, and they actually grabbed their wash water and drank it instead, and didn't realize it until it was too late. So I personally keep my soda out of reach, so I have to make an intentional effort to get to it, where my wash waters I keep nice and handy, so when I'm focused and whatnot, it's all right there for me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Sorry for all the uhs. I'm not used to doing this. My apologies. I hope you enjoyed this, and we're going to start painting in the very next video, so keep moving forward, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Bye.